What's going on YouTube? Ledger here once again, this time at you again with some more Genshin Impact. And honestly, I want to talk to you guys about Cyno, alright? Because Cyno honestly is one of my favorite characters, but I've never once made a video on him. And throughout the whole time, or at least most of the time that he has been out, I have felt that he's been a severely underrated character. Let's talk about why. One release, everybody... Cyno, look at the camera. Look at the camera, Cyno. Come on. Upon release, everybody said that he was mid. And to be quite honest, they were right. Cyno was mid on release. I tested him a lot. He basically had a similar performance as Keqing. Sometimes Keqing outperformed him. A standard unit, a standard 5-star unit, right? Who not too long ago, right before Sumeru, was a pretty low level unit. Granted, she got a huge buff with Dendro coming out, and Aggravate Keqing is actually very good and very viable. But to be on par with the new limited 5-star just didn't sit right with a lot of people. Neither did it sit right with me, because I really like Cyno. I was looking forward to him. I like his character, I like his aesthetic and everything like that when it came to the main quest and everything. So I was looking forward to him. So the simple fact that he was doing just as good as Keqing, you know, that's mid. You know, that's mid. You know, Keqing wasn't bad, but she wasn't the greatest. Just the true definition of mid. Now, the reason why that happened, honestly, is because we didn't fully understand, or we didn't have the avenues to use Cyno the way that he needed to be used, or he was meant to be used. He was somebody that was meant to be used with Nahida, right? And when you use him with Nahida, then you can truly use the type of teams that he was made to be for, right? Because Cyno is a character that scales with EM, right? He uses attack, but he also uses EM also. His damage is boosted quite a bit, as you can see with his passive. So he has an incentive to build a lot of EM. And what type of teams do good with building a lot of EM? Yeah, Aggravate is good, but it's, you know, you don't have to build that much EM for Aggravate. But Hyperbloom is where that will truly shine. Because if you have somebody that can deal damage and do Hyperbloom at the same time, you're going to have a very, very strong archetype. But the fact of the matter is, Nahida wasn't out yet, so we didn't have strong Dendro applicators. We had Dendro MC and we had Cole, and that was essentially it. We didn't really have anything else. So the fact of the matter was, Cyno didn't have any of the weapons he needed in order to be able to shine. So yeah, so his performance, regardless, was going to be on par with Keqing. Since then, we have gotten many, many, many buffs to Cyno. Because right in the following patch that he came out, Nahida came out, right? And Nahida was somebody who was able to apply Dendron strong enough to where you can start throwing Hydro characters on the team while being able to keep up the quicken aura and do what we call quick bloom, where Cyno's able to do adequate damage, right? But also do some very strong hyper blooms while he's doing that. So Nahida was basically the saving grace, right? Which is why when those people who are thinking, hey, is it worth it to have Cyno? I say that it's only worth it to have Cyno if you have Nahida. If you do not have Nahida, I mean, maybe Baiju can also work too, but I still say Nahida is the go-to, right? Because you can put Baiju on a team, you can make him work with Baiju, but he's still going to be outclassed by other 5-star limited DPSs. He might outdo Keqing, but Nahida is who he needs. Once you have Nahida on your team, I say that Cyno is now a top-tier DPS. And he is severely underrated when it comes to that, because I don't think people really understood how much Nahida really improved him. I don't understand, because people were still trying to use him Aggravate after Nahida came. And that was the thing. I mean, a lot of theory crafters were telling people to use Quick Bloom, of course, but that's not what was happening. If you look at the team that I have right now, if you have Cyno on this team, he's deleting everything, right? The team is, of course, Cyno, Nahida, Baiju, and Farina. Now, guys, let's be real here. This is a team full of 5-star limited characters. So if you don't have all these characters, there's a good chance that you don't have all these characters. So you might not be able to get the full power out of Cyno, but that's okay, because as long as you have Nahida, you're good to go, because Baizu is the best fit right there, but Yao does exist, and you can use Yao, who isn't going to work as well as Baizu, but she is going to work. And then you have Farina, who a lot of people have picked up recently, and she is phenomenal in this role because she is buffing Nahida's damage by a lot, and she is buffing Cyno's damage by a lot, right? And that's fantastic. And she doesn't apply too much hydro to where she overtakes the quicken order. So it's fantastic. It is a fantastic position for her to have. But if you don't have that, you can always put on Yolande. Xingqiu is a good thing too, but sometimes he can overtake the quicken aura, and so Yolande is really who you want to put in there. But yeah, Xingqiu is an option right there too. But then there's all different types of options you can do. As long as you have Nahida on the team, there's all kinds of different options. You can have one archetype I'd like to do before Farina came out, before Baizu came out, where I like to put Cyno, Nahida, Kokomi, and Yai Miko, right? Or Fischl if you don't have Yai. And that actually did really good because Kokomi didn't do a lot of hydro application, so she was able to put out a few seeds, and I was able to hyper bloom those, right? And it actually worked pretty well together. It's a team that works pretty well. There's other aggravate teams. There's other ways to set up quick bloom and such. You can throw Cookie in there for electro healer. You can do all kinds of things like that, right? But the fact of the matter is, I say that Cyno is only worth it if you're putting in Dendro-related teams. If you try and put Cyno in Electro Charge, if you try and put Cyno in anything else besides those Dendro teams, then it's just not going to work out. He is made to be with Dendro, and if he's used outside of that, it just doesn't work out too well. When it comes to choosing between him and other DPSs, that's why I usually say with DPSs, it really comes down to preference. But if you're trying to choose a DPS and you have Nahida, Cyno's going to be right up there with the other ones. So you don't have to be worried about, oh, is he going to be better than Navia? Is he going to be better than so-and-so? Is he going to be better than Ayaka? You know, I mean, he's not going to be stronger than Ayaka, but the fact of the matter is you don't need Ayaka's strength in order to beat everything. You know, Cyno is going to be more than strong enough to beat everything if you have the necessary units to make him work. I mean, we do have some options ahead of us. We have Navia ahead of us. We have whatever new unit might come out. And the fact of the matter is, you know, I mean, there's word on the street that Raiden might be coming up too. And to give you the truth, of course, Raiden's going to have more value than Cyno if you don't have Raiden. But if you do have Raiden, then I'd say that picking Cyno is not going to be a bad choice whatsoever, as long as you have Nahida on your account. Those are kind of the thoughts I wanted to talk about Cyno. I really like Cyno. He's one of my favorite DPSs. He's one part of my main lineup, you know, when it comes to the different teams that I use. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to give him his flowers real quick and help those who are on the fence of if they want to pick Cyno or not. Let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think of Cyno? Are you one of the people who feel that he's underrated? Do you still think that he's mid? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Like the video if you like the content, and subscribe to the channel so you get more content like this. Without under here, Legend out.